Good morning, everybody. We are here with Christine from IFRS Law, and today I have an interesting question. I don't know if many of you folks have ever had the answer, or rather the question. I wanted to know how a credit history dispute work and what it is exactly. So Christine is going to explain that a bit more. Hi, Christine. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Lizette?
Busy.
I can appreciate it. Thank you for asking the question. And I'm sure it's a question, especially for people who come from different countries and come to the United States and have to deal with this. I don't know if in South Africa you have similar types of history reports, but here in the United States, when someone is maybe applying for a job or going to apply for a loan, even to like rent a place, an apartment or a home, and any types where there's any type of scrutiny, the credit reports are used to kind of check that background of that particular individual. And it can have a history of your loans that you've paid on or haven't paid on, your current debt and how much it is, and other financial information. And if it's a little bit more robust sort of report, it can have even whether or not you've been sued, filed bankruptcy, or even been arrested, so they are really important. One important challenge with these types of reports is that they often have mistakes in them. And so when there are mistakes, and some of us, are pretty diligent with looking at them, and I recommend that people do that. And we can share a link in the at the bottom of the video, annualcreditreport.com. It's a good place to go. You're entitled to getting at least one free a year currently. It's a government I guess compelled protection. TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are the three largest credit reporting agencies, but there's all kinds of what we would consider a consumer reporting type of agency that does background and pulls records from public records and collects information. It's a really big business selling this kind of data to different businesses, because it also collects other kind of data relative to, how old you are, female, male, your buying history. And businesses are interested in this information and purchase and buy the information from different sources that are what we would consult consumer reporting agency, I guess is the official term. And they are obligated to follow certain rules and regulations. And when you dispute, they have to respond within a certain period of time. And sometimes if they don't, you may have a legitimate legal claim against them, which would allow you to, if all things being equal and it meets the standard necessary, you'd be able to sue and to make them change the record, and then to maybe get your attorney's fees. And if you were harmed by it, let's say you went to apply for a loan, and because there was some bad information in there that was inaccurate, you were only being offered a higher interest versus a lower interest, which you truly would be entitled to. But if there's old information on there, they're stale, because then there's certain statutes under state law that certain information can't be reported any longer. Let's say you filed bankruptcy, for example, after a certain amount of years, which I believe is 7, they can't report that anymore. And so if you dispute it, saying, hey, this is an old bankruptcy, it was discharged, and you have your information correct, it shouldn't be reported anymore. So if they make those kinds of mistakes and share that with other people and it harms you, you can have legal remedy.
That makes a lot of sense. And this one, actually, it's very close to home, because a few months ago, almost like, I think 4 or 5 months ago, I actually cleared my name and I had no debt. But then on the system, there was like still old records. of stuff that I already paid up. And as I was trying to apply for credit, my credit score was also very low, and it gave my, it has like, you have like a bad name, if you understand what I mean.
Reputation.
And then you can't do anything. You can't buy anything new. And I really wanted to buy a car, because I needed one. My car was giving me so much problems. But yeah, I think that really explains a lot. And I actually had to find somebody here, legal representation, to help me clear that out, get them to send me the signed up letters. So I completely understand where you're coming from if people are getting harmed by this type of, situation.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you so much for clearing that up. Really, we do appreciate it. And yeah, folks, we're going to keep it short and sweet. It's Friday, and I hope all of you have a fantastic weekend. And remember to always seek legal advice, especially when you are struggling with disputes, or if you have questions regarding warranties, anything. And I know IFRS Law is an excellent place to go for seeking help and getting more information. The people are splendid. So yeah.
Lizette, there's just one other thing I wanted to mention about credit reports, because often people will want to know, how can I improve my credit history?
Yeah, that's true.
And I always suggest, disputing is one way, to clean it up. If there are, even if it's something that's minor, like the number on your address, or the misspelling of your name, and say, hey, that's not how my name is spelled. I've never spelled it that way. Just because things get messed up and mixed up, there's mixed identity reports where where a common name, your credit history might get mixed up with somebody else's, and whatever's being reported on somebody else's that has a similar name. So you really want to make sure maybe to even use your middle name when and include that in records when you're applying for a loan and so forth, to avoid that. But like I said, disputing it is important. And then if you're trying, the amount of debt that you have, and closing out, accounts that maybe you don't have, aren't using, getting those actually formally, even if you stop using it, doesn't mean it's closed. And you don't want to look at somebody else possibly using that, old information. Actually taking affirmative steps to close accounts that or credit cards that you're not using, and keeping your, and paying timely, and not putting your hand in the sand and trying to work out a payment plan for something, or some alternative arrangement with a creditor, because you don't want to get sued, because you might get sued and not get notice of it, and then it gets worse, and then now you have a judgment against your name, and then lots of fees escalate and so forth. So it's better to try to work things out, and you can get a lawyer or a bankruptcy attorney to help you. You don't always have to file bankruptcy. You can get legal counsel or some kind of financial advocate to help work out a payment plan and so forth. So that's all I wanted to say about that for today.
That is true. And I think for me personally, I didn't want to go, bankruptcy. I really wanted to just clear my name, get my credit score up, because I have been paying the creditors. So yeah, there is other options. And I'm very happy that you clarified that a bit more. And I'm really sure a lot of people will benefit from this video, because I had a lot of questions. I didn't even know exactly how to explain it in the first time, and you just cleared up everything so nicely, and like we discussed previously in layman's terms. So yeah, I love this. I really understand this better now. So thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, Lizette. I'm glad. Thank you for asking a good question.
It's fine. You must have a wonderful day and a lovely weekend.
You do the same.
Okay. Bye.